Alright, what's up guys, and welcome to the death of Landorus. It's pretty much we're gonna run this video as we're gonna have a rundown why it's not as viable anymore, but also pretty much why it was good in the first place. Because it's a weird scenario. Landorus have kept every offensive presence that made it viable. They're still in there, and Incarnate is as good as ever, still in Menace and Ubers, and quite frankly, there's nothing wrong with Incarnate. However, Therian form lost key features. Its offensive prowess are as good, if not better, this generation, but it turns out that its supportive option that it lost in knockoff and defog might actually have been the very reason it was used in the first place, and while it is replaced in this generation. Pretty much, its offensive presence was more about bonus than anything. It was its defensive utilities, an option of doing much more than offensive pressure mons that made it viable. Look at the mons replaced it, which are 3 new ground types this generation, which are really solid. Great Husk, Iron Threads, both being able to set up rapid spin, knockoff, and their own stealth rocks. Combine that with offensive presence, and you got a recipe for destruction. Pretty much Great Husk is way better than Landorus, even though Landorus with Grass Knot defeats it. Just the option that it can run Ice Spinner makes it very, very tough for Landorus to stand in against it. It is usually the one, since it's flying and ground, to be able to pretty much laugh at its dual stab. But it also dies to, well, its countermeasures and wasting your Terra type of water, not only making yourself a worse defensive type in, only to check and beat Great Husk. It's not a great time. Clodsar is also a great option, and it fills a niche that pretty much no underground type has been able to do, which is defensively bulky and just nope everything. And, well, it was all fine and dandy till the Teal Mask. Teal Mask introduced another contender for the best ground type, Gliscor. Now, Gliscor is not perfect. It lost Roost this generation, which kind of implies that its defensive utilities are now nerfed. But combine that with getting spikes and toxic spikes, and all of a sudden, it is able to be very, very dangerous on its own right. You can combine it with a good type in and toxic heal, and yeah, it is a really solid defensive respawn and a defensive good enough response since it hacks toxic to be able to beat even Great Husk. So in short, Landorus, while really, really solid and will be incredible if not broken in UU, really can't fill a niche whatsoever in OU. Its best sets are replaced by pre-existing mons, which makes it very unfortunate for it. The only mon that could, in theory, I guess, kind of beat it down is the special set. And the special set, while good, is overly specific for the ground types that replaced it, which makes its offensive utilities pretty much not worth it. Stealth Rock U-turn to go to Earth Power and Sludge Wave, or Nasty Blot and go Terra type Water, or you just hear the scenario here of you have to have so many moves to be able to beat whatever toss is ahead of you, and that's just for the defensive responses. Landorus are checked by the very things it beat in its previous generation, and has a lot to do with losing defog. It's no longer can keep the hazards away, and it lost toxic, makes it very much forcing you to run an offensive set, and of course losing knockoff. Can't even punish the defensive responses that could come in and punish them with rocks afterwards. Landorus has a rough time. It's not bad. It's just the mons that are introduced, plus Gliscor, that's got a theoretical buff, are way ahead of it in its utility and makes very, very tough for Landorus to take a place in the OU team. Which, who thought about this? This is awesome. I love seeing Titans fall, and Landorus might just be the very biggest Titan to fall yet. Good on you, Game Freak.